So now you have these central bankers in Australia and New Zealand where they have good economies cutting interest rates anyway because they want to be like everybody else. I mean, maybe all these central bankers, when they get together at conferences, maybe there's a lot of peer pressure, to cut rates. Maybe all the cool bankers, the ones from the United States and Great Britain and Japan, they're over there, they got all the hot chicks around them and they're cool and they're drinking martinis and having a great old time. And they're trying to coax these other central bankers over. Hey, what's wrong? You got to try this stuff. You got to try some of this QE. It's great. It feels great. It's a great time, man. What's your problem? You don't want some of this stuff? What are you afraid? You're afraid of what? You're afraid of inflation? Don't worry about inflation. We got that covered. Just change the CPI. You got some kind of mandate? What are you, some kind of mama's boy? You a sissy? You chicken? Don't you want to have a good time? Right? Is this what these bankers are talking about? So you've got Australia, New Zealand, they want to be part of the party. They want to play ball. They want to be team players. They don't want to be left out in the cold with higher interest rates. So they're all doing it. The Poles, get the Poles coming in. Get the Koreans in on it. Everybody, it's a big party, man. Yeah, it's just like drugs. When you're a drug addict, you want your friends to be high too. You don't want your friends criticizing what you're doing, right? You want everybody doing the same thing, right? And so I guess these central bankers are no different than little kids, and they're very subjected to peer pressure. So despite overwhelming evidence that weakening your currency doesn't work, they do it anyway. And you can look at countries where the currencies are strong and the economies are getting better, and nobody wants to think for a minute, maybe a strong currency is a good thing. Maybe we shouldn't be trying to weaken our currency. Maybe we should look at policies that strengthen our currency. And what policies strengthen your currency? Limited government spending, balanced budgets, high savings rates, lots of innovation, lots of investment. Aren't these good things? What produces a weak currency? Deficits, lots of spending, big government, lots of money printing, weak economic growth. That's what gives you a weak currency. So what do you think is more desirable? And of course, what's easier to achieve? In order to achieve a strong currency, right? That's like getting an A in school. That's hard. You got to study, you got to do your homework, you got to show up, you got to crack the books. The reward is an A. Is it hard to get an F? No, anybody can get an F. It's easy. The easiest thing you can do is get an F. That's why it's the worst grade, right? The highest grade is the hardest to get, and the worst grade is the easiest. So the easiest thing to have is a weak currency. You just print a bunch of currency. You just create inflation. You're going to have a weak currency. Anybody can achieve that. So why is that the goal? Why is that desirable? You have to be you have to be on drugs to think that, which is what all these central bankers are on. 855-4SHIFT. That's our phone number. We'll take some calls. We got a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Peter Schiff Show.